Welcome to our channel's first review, where we will have a very quick look back at our last 35 episodes, and if any of them tempt you to watch the full show, just look at the list for the links in the description below. We will also look forward to the next 35 episodes and more. Our journey started in 1965 with episode 1 and a look at the super cute Ahone trump cards. Episode 2 found us reaching for 1966 with Nintendo's famous Ultra Hand extendable arm. Our third episode saw us looking at the Ultra Machine or Slugger Mate, an auto-pitching device with an extendable bat coupled to some Nintendo-branded table tennis balls, suitable for indoor use, brought to us in 1968. And in 1969 we saw the world was openly rebelling against conflicts and war, and demanding a new period of peace and harmony. They wanted it to be the age of Aquarius. So what better to offer the hippie world than a love tester, which we covered in episode 4. Continuing with the year 1969, Nintendo launched a series of 3D puzzles, called the Chaotic Cube or Challenge Dice, depending on the market location, in which a large dice had removable, varying length pegs instead of simple dimples. Sold in 3 colors, with turquoise being very common, red being quite rare, and cream or off-white being ultra rare. Look up episode 5 for the full story. If collecting was likened to having children, in which you're not able to choose a favorite, the custom lever action light gun rifle from 1971 would be my biggest problem, because it's simply amazing. The metal rifle, together with the bespoke target, and the super rare Nintendo branded telescopic sights, together with its amazing 330-foot shooting range, makes this Nintendo gem a difficult game not to dote on. I highly recommend you watch episode 6. By 1977, Nintendo took the plunge into what would later become its core business, a games console. The TV Game 6 marks Nintendo's first ever home games console, being bright orange. This was a super cute Pong clone. We covered this in detail, including some gameplay in episode 7. In the same year, Nintendo followed up on the initial TV Game 6, with a new and improved TV Game 15 model, being nearly identical to its predecessor. The 15 did at least offer detachable controllers. The full story can be found in episode 8. While episode 9 continued the home gaming console theme, but with a very large system, the enormous color TV racing game 112, complete with a full-sized steering wheel, shifter and dashboard. Finishing up with the 1979 color TV game Block Kazushi, Nintendo had arrived as a computer games manufacturer. Episode 11 found us in the 80s with Nintendo's answer to the Rubik's Cube, the Tumbler Puzzle, or more accurately called, the 10 Billion Barrel. And sticking with 1980, we find the first ever LCD handheld ever issued by Nintendo, called the Game & Watch series. The first game was called Ball in most markets around the world, and it was called Toss Up in North America, where it did not sport a Nintendo logo at all, but a newly developed Time-Out brand, from the then famous toy wholesalers, the renowned Mego Company. After launching the Silver series, Ball would be quickly followed by the very orange Game & Watch called Flagman, which was also a 1980 offering and went by either Nintendo or Time-Out branding depending upon location. This was followed up again in 1980 with the Nintendo branded, white case console called Vermin, or the Time-Out branded, black case console called the Exterminator. The third offering of the Silver series was called Fire by Nintendo and Fireman by the short-lived Time-Out brand, still in 1980. This was fully reviewed in episode 15. The sixth and final Silver series offering in 1980 would never get a Time-Out version, called simply Judge by Nintendo. It would later get a second issue that would see a change in case color. This is how it got the name, Judge Purple and Judge Green. The direct follow-on from the highly successful 1980 Silver series would be the same sized but short-lived 1981 Gold series. This gold face-bladed series would add an integrated wire stand, color-printed screen underlay and was launched to great fanfare with a game called Manhole. The next offering was titled Helmet, but also called Headache in the UK, and followed quickly on the previous game called Manhole's Heels. These variants were both covered in episode 18. Episode 19 brings in the final Game & Watch of the short-lived Gold series, where Nintendo finishes up with a game called Lion. As episode 20 arrived, we shifted our focus to a newly styled Game & Watch officially called the Widescreen series. The first offering of this improved category was titled Parachute, and was launched in 1981. Hot on its heels was the famous and ever so popular game called Octopus. Continuing the widescreen series, episode 22 saw Nintendo's first ever licensed character, with the launch of the game called Popeye. And still in the year 1981, Nintendo issued the fast-paced game called Chef. And then we saw two identical games issued on the same day, one licensed version, in bright red plastic called Mickey Mouse, and a less common and unlicensed twin in a drab blue case called Egg. By episode 26 we saw the first re-release from the Silver series to this, the widescreen series, boasting bigger screen, better graphics and a slightly different gameplay. Episode 27 apparently gave us an NES-themed game and watch called Turtle Bridge, before we even had an NES. It's wonderful to see embryonic color schemes and concepts get major relaunches in the following years. Fire Attack, a Western-themed game, also experimented with a similar color design to Turtle Bridge, but chose an uncomplimentary orange for its case. Another licensed game called Snoopy Tennis completed the widescreen series in 1982, with an unusual 3-button console. Sticking with 1982, we welcomed in a very Nintendo DS-like console officially called the Multi-Screen series of games, with the very first offering being showcased in episode 30, where its dazzling and pristine white case was simply stunning. This game was called Oil Panic. Surpassing both the beauty and functionality of Oil Panic was this game, and it's likely the most popular game and watch of all time, the multi-screen game called Donkey Kong. And just as important as the title and introduction to Mario and Donkey Kong is the fact that this handheld used the crossed-shaped D-pad, or directional controller, for the first time in history. Mickey Mouse made a second appearance in episode 32, bringing along Donald Duck for this multi-screen fun game. Stanley the Bugman starred in our 33rd episode, which was called Greenhouse. And our 34th episode saw a triumphant return for Donkey Kong and Mario, and showcased Donkey Kong Jr. for the very first time. And then we get to see another Nintendo classic with the book-styled, side-by-side multi-screen game called Mario Brothers and the world premiere of the now famous brother, Luigi. Well, I'm going to shut up, and just let our next 35 episode stars talk for themselves. Please enjoy.